So are you guys ready for a mentoring technique?
Sure.
You
All right.
want to do
Great.
technique? It's
Yeah.
interactive. I don't know how interactive it has to be, but you have to get a piece of paper and a pen. Everyone has to get, you can get a 8.5 by 11,
Ooh,
you can
ooh, ooh.
get a little notebook. It has to be big enough to write a few things on it. Yeah, you can
Me,
do 8.5 by 11.
I
I
have
have
nothing.
a clipboard.
That's okay. So I actually have a
Yeah.
handout that people can use, but right now, just for now, if you want to, anyone that's listening can do this.
All
But
right.
first, I want to give a short piece of information. So we have in our minds, well, we know that everything that we feel starts with a thought, right? That our thoughts create the emotions, and our emotions create our behaviors, and our behaviors create the habits and the actions. And anyway, it's a cycle, always a cycle. So this exercise is what will help you to recognize your self-talk, this context that we were maybe born with. It was the very first thought that we had. It can be physiological. So context is how you see yourself and how you think the world sees you. It's just your place in the world. So are you, and very typical, it's I am not enough. That was one of mine until I did this exercise and been working on this. But I am not
That's
enough.
really stupid.
I am not loved is another one. I am not strong enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not like anything like that comes up. Anything that stops you from doing what you want to do. It's folded in half. And on the left side, you write these 3 to 5 to 20 things. And then on the right side, write exactly opposite of what you just wrote, the exact opposite, and add another adjective to like kick it out of the water. So
All
an
right.
example would be I'm not smart enough is what is one for me. I am not smart enough. And then on the right side, I am brilliantly
Ooh.
smart, or like just add another adjective. Or two or three or four adjectives that kick it out of the water. Like you want to kick it out of your mind.
Okay.
I don't know if anyone else is doing it in the group, but you guys we're having a little pause for a minute, just a moment.
That's all right. That's why we need John singing the Jeopardy
Oh
song.
yeah.
I don't know the lyrics to the
Oh,
Jeopardy
no, I
song.
just wanted the
So,
music. I don't think it has lyrics.
da, da,
There we
da,
go.
There you go. That's fine.
da.
All right. I am ready. I've got both sides filled out.
Okay. So the more you do this kind of stuff and the declarations as well, I'll explain a little more of that. You do get to the point where you're like, I don't have any negative self-talk. Like whenever it comes up, I kick it out of the water and I
I
ignore it.
love that though. Like that's a really good coping skill that my therapist gave me years back is that like I think in those moments when you have the negative self-talk, you kind of have to validate it. Okay, you're feeling this way and you kind of feel like whatever, but how am I going to react and how am I going to rethink? Like how am I going to readjust that thought? Because you don't
Yeah.
want to suppress it because then it, gets all crazy. But
Yeah, and I always ask,
validate and
I always ask,
flip it around.
yeah, and I always ask myself as well, what triggered this thought?
Yeah.
What was the cause of this?
Right.
So I've done a lot of self work on this, and this is actually really hard for me to go back.
That's good. That's okay. So they're lies, you guys. On the left column, those are lies. So now rip your page in half all the way down the middle.
Oh.
If I do that, I won't be able to talk to anybody again. This may not be such a bad thing.
You don't want to rip your phone in half.
Carrie.
No more podcast for me.
All right, I'm ripped.
Awesome. Okay, so now you have two sides. The left side are the lies. The right side is the truth. And so the lies, rip them up, shred them. You can burn them. A lot of people will burn them.
Yes, please.
Oh my gosh, one of my friends that did this with me, she flushed it down the toilet. I don't know how good that was for this.
Oh. What if failure floats to the top?
You want to get rid of them. So with this exercise, what you're doing is you're making these thoughts tangible, and then you're ripping them up and throwing them away. It's kind of how it works, is that now that you have them taken out of your brain and put on a piece of paper and ripped up and thrown away, so now you replace those thoughts with the ones on the right side. And so look at those statements on the right, the ones that you wrote that were truths, and those are your declarations. And so if this was a group, we would have everybody stand up and they would say it to each other. We don't have to do that unless you guys want to.
Stand it up.
I'm good. Look at the time.
Oh yeah.
So that's what you do, and then doing this, you can do this with your family. It's fun to do with your family. So when you do this, it feels awkward. And I think it was Celeste who said, "What if you don't believe these?"
I was gonna say, so like, because I want to do this with my kids. So I would read off my right hand, and then they would repeat it back to me.
No, you read yours and they read theirs. So your new context for yourself is, I am brilliant, or I am
Not nearly as much of an idiot as I thought I was.
I was gonna say, if I could do this, I would be so excited.
I'm just
These are
messing
like my
around.
goals.
yes. And then there are several things you can do with this. I can give you a couple of ideas, and then we can move on to the topic too. But there are a couple of things we can do. So what I've had my daughter do, and myself, we write down these terms in a text, like an alarm on our phone. So at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. when the alarm rings, we say those thoughts to ourselves. I am brilliant. So hers was, I am brave, loving, smart, safe, and strong. So every time the alarm went off, she would say that I am brave, loving, smart, safe, and strong. And it happened for a while to where she just did that. Those were not that she programmed her thoughts to believe these instead of those lies that she was believing.
And then you could work on others.
Yeah.
As they
And then you
come up.
want more.
Sure.
Yeah. When it doesn't feel like it's like Celeste was saying, you don't know if you really believe it. The more you tell yourself, the more you will believe it. And then once you believe it so much that it becomes who you think you are, then you can change, like you said, to another one. And so that's what we want to change, is speak kindly of yourself. It also gives other people the right. It gives them the freedom to speak kindly of themselves as well.
That's right. On it.